Hi everyone, it's Matt Lockaby. I'm the managing partner here at Lockaby PLLC here in Lexington, Kentucky. And today we're talking about how businesses can reduce the risk of sexual harassment in the workplace. Every year, the EEOC receives more than 10,000 charges of sexual harassment in the workplace. And for employers, even a single allegation of harassment can lead to a lawsuit, decreased morale, and even reputational damage. And today, we're going to talk about those things employers can do to prevent sexual harassment claims or minimize that legal exposure. Number one, employers have to have clear expectations for their employees. Employees should never be guessing about what is or what is not acceptable or permitted conduct in the workplace. And this starts with a clear, plainly worded anti-harassment policy. This policy ideally is a part of your employee handbook. All employees should be given that handbook at the time that they're hired and at the time of any updates are made during the course of their employment. But most importantly, they have to be trained on what this policy says, what it means, and what their obligations are, which is step two, training. Training just can't be a thing that happens at onboarding or during orientation. It's got to happen regularly throughout every employee's employment with the company. And I know this is sensitive, I know it's awkward, but it needs to be done in a way that's engaging for employees in the workplace. And don't forget about your managers. Managers have to know exactly what's prohibited, but they also have to know how to respond to complaints when employees come to them. Again, these are really sensitive issues, and managers need to know exactly how they need to act when they get a complaint, whether it's from an employee who's a habitual complainer or whether it's from one of your superstars who are complaining about the misconduct of another person. Lastly, when it comes to training, don't forget to document everything that you do. The date, the time, what happened, who was there. If it wasn't documented, guess what? It didn't exist. Number three, employers need to make reporting safe and simple for all employees. That means providing more than one, and sometimes more than two points of contact. Give employees options to ensure that they have the ability to report these sensitive issues to people that they trust. So having more than one manager or more than one officer, more than one HR professional, giving them options to report will ensure that they actually do come forward when they have a complaint. If you can have an online or an anonymous reporting tool, all the better. Now, anonymous sexual harassment complaints come with their own set of issues, but again, giving employees the ability to bring forward an anonymous complaint is better than them not reporting a complaint at all. Next, when any complaint of sexual harassment is brought forward by an employee, treat it seriously, act quickly, and you've got to take action as soon as you possibly can. Now, how this action is taken is going to depend on every situation. If it's an employee that's complaining against a higher level employee, like an officer or an executive, or if it's an employee complaining about a coworker that might be equal on their level or even below them on the organizational chain. How you respond will differ depending on the circumstances, and it's going to dictate, in most instances, who actually is doing the investigating. Whether you're retaining outside counsel to do the investigation, whether someone in HR can lead this investigation, or whether it's another manager in one of the business units. Either way, check with your legal counsel to make sure that you're doing it the right way, that you're preserving any attorney-client privilege that you're able to preserve, and make sure that you're able to do all of this as quickly as possible so that you can take action based upon the nature of the allegations. Last, you got to document. Document, document, document. If that's the one lesson you take away from today, document. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. And remember, these types of complaints, the investigation materials, they do not go into any employee's personnel file. They go into separate confidential investigation files. So to wrap up quickly, what can employers do to help prevent sexual harassment claims, or what can they do to minimize the exposure when claims do arise? You can start with your expectations in a clearly worded policy. You're going to train everyone in the company from low-level employees to high-ranking officers and executives. You're going to document everything you do. You're going to act quickly when you're faced with any sexual harassment complaints, including contacting your outside legal counsel for support through the process. Do these things and you will put yourself in as good of a position as possible if litigation were to arise. But sometimes, more importantly, you're going to help build that culture that you've been trying to build. You're going to preserve employee morale, and you're going to preserve that productivity amongst your workforce. As always, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.